is a word for the mother boxes, because they change stuff, which is not what they do in the comics. Same with this Unity thing, where they're going to combine the three mother boxes to destroy all life on Earth. That's not what they do in the comics. It's just not what they traditionally do with them. Anyway, Cyborg and the Justice League charges in to save Silas and the other guys from Star Labs. They face off with Steppenwolf for the first time. We get a kind of cool boss fight, which eventually results in Steppenwolf blowing open the underground tunnel so that while the water comes in, but Aquaman is thankfully able to hold the water back long enough for them to get out of the tunnel so they don't all drown. So yeah, that's a thing. So the Justice League is mostly together, all five of them. There's this point that the mother boxes inform Steppenwolf that the anti-life equation is on Earth, and that gets his Darkseid's attention, who says if he can get take over this planet, he'll get a chance at redemption, which is a thing in this. And it's not something that's specified in this movie. It's not like he got defeated at the 5,000 years ago. That was actually Darkseid, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. I feel like that was a weird decision. This doesn't feel as much like a director's cut as it initially seemed like. Like, it seems like some of this stuff was added in for the sake of the studio. I don't know.
Also, what is
Depends
up with
on
this stupid fucking music they keep on playing over and over again?
Yeah, they play a lot of dumb, somber music during this. It's not very good. They change a bunch of it for the Whedon cut, but the Whedon cut music isn't all that good either. They don't use enough of the Wonder Woman theme, which is the best song in any of these movies. So yeah, this is all weird. Victor explains his deal to the Justice League and how the Mother Box came to America, which is a dumb thing, which they didn't need to explain at all. They've come up with a plan to use the Mother Box to save Superman, which is something spurred on by Batman in the Whedon cut, but is something they've all kind of come up with in this, because the Mother Box can put things back together, so they figure, why can't it put a person back together? Aquaman's very skeptical of this, because he's bringing someone back from the dead. There's a lot of spiritual questions about that, you got to admit.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we get our Martian Manhunter cameo for no reason. They debate the subject, but Bruce insists on doing it. I think actually Whedon cut does this a bit better, because it kind of does stress that Batman's kind of doing this for selfish reasons. We enter part 5, All the King's Horses. Flash and Cyborg have to exhume Superman's body. Bruce Wayne brings up that he's doing this on faith in Superman, which is... I actually do think that Joss Whedon did. I don't know. I think maybe the Whedon cut's a bit better. I gotta watch it again.
Yeah.
I'm not... Maybe I'm just... I was mildly disappointed by this, but it's fine, I think. I think there's some good stuff in it. But the thing is, you're waiting for it for so long, you've kind of fantasized about what it could be, and it wasn't going to happen. So they go to the Kryptonian ship to go do some reviving. Silas helps cover this up so they can get in. Lois is there by accident in this version. We've talked about this. As they're getting ready to revive Superman, they show some clips of the Dark Timeline from that we saw in the last movie. We get our first glimpse of Black Suit Superman, so that's something.
Yeah, was there a reason for that?
I think Zack Snyder's trying to set something up.
Okay.
Given the end of the movie, I think he's setting something up.
But it's not explained in any of the past movies why he even has a black suit?
No, we don't see it in any of them.
Why is the suit black?
Well, in the 90s, when they brought Superman back from the dead, he had a black suit.
Okay, so okay.
That's about it.
Yeah.
And that had something to do with the regeneration matrix he was put in to bring him back to life.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really utilized in this that way.
Yeah.
He has the black suit for the rest of the movie, by the way. It's a bit weird.
Like, he wasn't buried with the black suit.
No, but he took it out of the Fortress of Solitude.
Okay.
So it was in there evidently, which is where he got the red and blue suit from
Sure.
too. So yeah, I ended up not wanting the black suit as much as I thought I did. Just the fact of the matter wasn't as cool as I thought it would be. I was disappointed that it wasn't there in the Whedon cut. I think that was it. But yeah, they revive Superman. He's kind of in a state. He ends up fighting the Justice League. This is again, I was surprised in this because in the Whedon cut, there's a scene where Superman takes Batman by the throat and says, "You won't let me live. Now you won't let me die," and like all intimidating. And he's just like, "Do you bleed?" And it was the best part of the Justice League movie, and it's not in this because I was so certain that was something that Zack Snyder had come up with. But I guess not, because that was a scene where they had to digitally remove Henry Cavill's mustache.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's why it's not in this. But I thought for sure that was something Zack Snyder had come up with,
Yeah.
because it's such a Zack Snyder line. I think Joss was kind of clearly now Joss was making fun of him a bit, and that speaks to my tolerance of Zack Snyder that I didn't catch that. I think
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't too silly even for him. But they could leave that out, and he's just kind of like Savage in this. He manages to follow the Flash while he's moving at super speed, because Superman can also kind of move at super speed.
Sure.
So he fights them all off. The army fires at Superman in this, which is not in the Joss Whedon cut. Lois ends up showing up randomly and calming Superman down, and they fly off to Kansas, not to live happily ever after. Except maybe that might happen eventually. Still,
So they head to Kansas and never have the conversation with Clark Kent's mother.
no, they bring her out. They bring her back.
Yeah, but like, you don't think that Lewis and like, I don't know what Clark Kent's mother's like.
Oh! You mean in regards to bringing him back to life?
No,
Yeah, I
that
suppose
too.
that's.
Because at the end of the movie, it just shows like Clark Kent walking down the street and like he's in his Clark Kent disguise.
Yeah,
Like, how do you just walk back to your old life and be like, "Oh yeah, hey guys, remember me? Not dead." Turns out,
I mean, he did it in the comics.
it's just like
To be fair,
what I was
I
talking.
think.
What I'm trying to get at is the fact that Martian Manhunter turned into Clark Kent's mother and was like talking to Lois and was like, "Oh yeah, our house got foreclosed on, yada 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 yada, the farm." You'd think it'd come up in conversation that like that was not Martha.
Yeah, that's something that should come up eventually, but doesn't. And why he even did that is a mystery.
Yeah.
Because that also establishes that he's on Earth during all this,
Hmm.
and he doesn't help.
On Earth and knows about the dark side like plot line.
Or at very least about the Justice League stuff.
Exactly.
Anyway, Steppenwolf in the meantime has come to steal the Mother Box, an extended scene that was not in the Joss Whedon cut. This eventually results in Silas trying to to shoot a laser at the Mother Box, which we think is him trying to destroy it initially, but is then revealed to be him superheating the Mother Box so that the Justice League can more easily track it later, and he sacrifices himself for that, so that they can easily track him. That's something that's kind of hand waved in the Whedon cut, but they give him a specific reason for here.
Hmm.
Seems weird.
Did I miss that?
Well, that's what he was doing the laser for.
So what you're saying is Silas Wood died,
Well, he didn't actually die in the Whedon cut.
but he's dead in the Snyder cut.
Yes.
Okay, maybe I did miss that then.
Yeah.
Once again, after like 2.5 hours, this movie starts getting a little fuzzy for me. So
Yeah. Yeah, he shoots a little laser at the Mother Box, and it kind of ricochets everywhere, which kind of just disintegrates Silas in there.
yeah.
I thought maybe they were going to send him to the Phantom Zone for a bit. I thought that would have been interesting. So Silas is dead, and Steppenwolf has the Mother Box, but now they can track him. The Justice League. They talk about Lois just that's this, and he thinks that Batman brings up that he thinks that maybe that he brings up the dream about from the last one about how the Flash showed up and told him Lois was the key, and Dan is like, "Oh, this is what he meant then," but Batman's just like, "No, this might mean. I'm afraid this might mean something darker," which doesn't make a lot of sense. Makes sense later in the movie when he gets another nightmare
Mhm.
as part of the epilogue, but doesn't make a lot of sense here. Seems like something you could miss at this point. At this point, the Justice League heads to the Batcave to go use the computers there to go track everything. In the meantime, Superman interacts with Lois, who has been wearing the ring that that Clark had left her, that had been holding on to at the end of the last, or had Martha holding on to at the end of the last movie. So he takes this as the meaning that she's going to accept his proposal, which is raises another question. So they're not even going to be able to hide that this is Clark Kent. I don't know. I thought maybe he'd like take.
I like to think
Like you could say he'd take up another name, but I guess that can't work.
I like to think that they come back and he's blonde and doesn't wear glasses, and his name is Kent Kark.
That's it. That you're actually describing Ben Reilly to me.
I
From like the Clone Saga of Spider-Man.
Maybe.
Because yeah, that's what the Spider-Man clone from Spider-Man does. He dyes his hair blonde so he distinguishes himself from Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry. It turns out Clark has a twin brother. This is his twin brother, Claude Kent. Claude Kent.
Yeah, regardless, it was just kind of dumb.
Yeah, there's lots of questions about coming back to the dead.
Mm-hmm.
No one said it was going to be easy, though.
Yeah.
So Superman also he meets up with Martha Kent again. So
Mm-hmm.
they have a big hug. The troop, Batman's been preparing a fancy bat plane this entire time, which shows up because Cyborg fixed it off screen. And they're gonna fly off to
Okay, this was dumb too.
fight Steppenwolf.
When Cyborg is like, "Oh, she wants to fly," I'm like, "What? It's an airplane. What do you mean by she? Why are you gendering this airplane?" And he's like,
Because he wants to sleep with it. He's been lonely.
I'm not.
I mean, he was a football player. It's entirely possible he's like just been like waiting to. He hasn't like who says he's been late in months? How long? Like, has he even seen a woman since he turned into a robot?
I don't think he has the necessary equipment to do any of that anymore.
I think he can make them. He can make laser arms on his hands. I think he can form a penis.
Sure, but what I'm saying is like, I get the idea behind technopathy. I don't get why they brought it up here.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, also Batman changes into a new Batman costume, which was in the Whedon cut actually done a lot better because Batman was really injured from being tossed around by Superman, and they showed all that. And also they cut out a bit where like Diana and Bruce have a little flirty bit, so that's another thing. Like I said, I'm missing a lot of Whedon cut stuff in this. I really want these movies combined.
Yeah, but like notoriously, after Louis Lane dies in like Injustice and a lot of other crazy Batman story arcs like that, Batman's normally shown dating Wonder Woman afterwards, correct?
Yeah, Batman's dated Wonder Woman and other stuff, and also Superman is. I think what you're saying is Superman dates Wonder Woman
Yes,
after
yeah.
Lois has dies a lot of
Yeah.
times. Yes, but I don't respect the Wonder Woman Superman ship
Why?
because it's just them pairing their two most popular heroes together, and also like Lois Lane's around and will always be around, and she's
Well,
way
she won't
she's the
always be
one
around,
of the best characters in
arguably.
comics.
Is she though?
Yes.
I don't.
If you ignore the stuff in the 50s, She's very good. She's awesome. She's an icon.
Is she a better journalist than Mary May in the Spider-Man video game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm okay. First of all, Lois Lane can fly a plane. She can shoot guns. She's a strong, independent woman who don't need no man, but she'll take the one that can fly. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but is that captured in this adaptation of Superman?
Not as much, but I don't. It's not as if like Superman and Wonder Woman have a ton of things together.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's probably easier for them to ship Wonder Woman and Batman than it is to ship what's his face and
Superman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
There's a very small group of people that like the Superman Wonder Woman ship, and there's a reason they abandoned it.
Mm-hmm.
She has more chemistry with Aquaman, for God's sake.
I think everybody has more chemistry with Aquaman in this movie.
Oh, they also cut. There's a scene where they're on the plane in the Whedon cut where like Aquaman sits on the lasso of truth and talks about how he's become friends with the rest of the Justice League. It's a bit forced, but it's funny, and they've cut it out of this. Like I said, combine these two movies, make a 3-hour Justice League,
Mm-hmm.
make a Whedon cut.
Whedon cut. I guess the
Yes.
other option would be like Widener. Also,
Yeah.
you said that we're gonna call the movie the Joss Whedon cut earlier, and
Yep.
I don't respect the fact that you didn't use the real name of it, and that's the Justice League.
The Justice League. I can respect that. You're right. You're right. We're gonna recur to that as now. That's how we're doing this. Superman says that he has to go see why they woke him up, the Justice League. So he goes to he first goes to his the Fortress of Solitude ship in the Arctic so he can get a super suit, which he picks out the black one because I'm over it. It's wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. We've been over this. I thought they would only have it on for like a couple of minutes. I didn't think it was going to be the whole thing, or that it would be something he grabbed in a rush. So yeah, he meets up with Alfred, who tells him what's up. So they go to confront Stephen. So they've gone to confront Steppenwolf. They do have a really cool action scene where they like drive in with the Batmobile and break in through the shield that's around the base before Superman arrives. Batman's essentially going to tries to sacrifice himself so that the powered people can go take care of Steppenwolf, but they refuse to let him do that, so they go help him. They cut out a bunch of Aquaman's woos from the Joss Whedon cut, which is another thing. That's again repetitive, me just saying everything they cut from the Whedon version, which I mean I gotta keep saying it because it's relevant to the review, but yeah. So they eventually get into the heart of this nuclear plant where Steppenwolf's set up, and they go to fight each other. Another notable thing they've cut from this movie is there was a bunch of people living in this town in the Whedon version or in the Justice League, but
Yeah.
they cut those. They're not in this. They were only in that movie so that they could say, "Oh, we need to show the Justice League saving some more people because I'm a internet whiny person who says that they're not saving enough civilians because people died in Metropolis, even though, of course, they did. And that's where the fight was supposed to be because Superman fights aliens in Metropolis. That's his entire thing. But oh, no, we need to show them saving people because that's big deal. Whatever. It was added in, it was shoehorned in that one. Even if those people were there were people there, I don't see why Apocalypse wouldn't have killed them or like why Steppenwolf wouldn't have killed them or turned them into parademons or whatever.
Yeah.
They kill all these parademons, by the way. That's a
Yeah, but
thing they
like
do.
when they first
Yeah, which is
originally
no big deal.
introduced the parademons, like the one parademon was just ragdolling Batman at that point. And
Like I don't take issue with it, but it's just a thing.
I'm just saying it's kind of weird that he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll go take on these parademons," but like one of them was.
Yeah, the parademons are technically enslaved aliens, which is why it's sketchy. But then again, they've killed them in other cartoons too. Like I think even in like the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, Batman kills a parademon, like indirectly, but still. So yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. But they fight Steppenwolf for a bit, and then a Superman arrives. In the meantime, they've had a plan that Cyborg's going to interface with the mother boxes, which is going to which is going to require the Flash to go around at light speed and generate a bunch of electricity to push Cyborg into the mother boxes. However, that works. He tries to do this, but gets tripped when when he gets caught in an explosion. He is wounded pretty badly. Darkseid opens a boom tube so he can observe the final bits of this battle, but the unity of the mother boxes completes and it's starting to kill all life on Earth. But Flash has to decides he's going to go faster than he's ever gone and break the rule about time travel in order to do time travel to save the world, which is fair. This might have had repercussions in later movies. We'll see. Maybe it's not in the Whedon cut, so I don't. Which I think is the one they're going to go off of. So Flash does time travel. It's a cool scene, but they put in some dumb voiceovers.
Yeah.
Speaking of voiceovers, when Superman was getting his super suit, they were doing voiceovers from both of his dads, which I thought was really good. I
Yeah.
thought that turned out all right. I thought it did more for. I thought like Superman's done a bit better in this after besides from him the direct resurrection points, but there's a lot of stuff in here that's actually really good. Like I said, combine this movie with the Justice cut.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you get something pretty cool. If that happens, hook me up, listeners. So yeah, they managed to Flash manages to turn back time. You know what would have been neat if like Flash did the thing that Superman did in the 70s Superman movie where he runs so fast around the Earth that the Earth turns back. I thought that would have been a fun reference.
I didn't actually care for this scene and a lot of other scenes. I think I fast forwarded a fair few because watching Flash run around in a circle for like, I don't know, 5 minutes straight isn't all that interesting.
Yeah, it's long. So Cyborg ends up in the Unity. He sees that the mother boxes have taken on the forms of his parents and a human version of Cyborg. They point out that they can fix him and make him not broken, and he will go on to respond that he's not broken, which is the end of his character arc, which I think is a good place to end it. I think that works pretty cool with him like accepting his place in the world and accepting that he's a hero and that he hasn't been wounded. I think it's a good a good way to go with it. Could maybe have built up a bit more, but I think it works. He gets souped. He manages to pull the mother boxes apart. Superman helps a little bit, but he does that. Aquaman and Wonder Woman and Superman team up to kill Steppenwolf. They send him back through the boom tube to Darkseid's feet. But Darkseid closes the boom tube, and I think Superman destroys the mother boxes so that Apocalypse can't just boom tube back to Earth. So yeah, and then they stand around looking like heroes for a bit.
Yeah.
And then we enter our epilogue. Oh, Darkseid says that he's going to go to Earth to get the anti-life equation, and he's going to go there the hard way, i.e. with spaceships. So now we're in the epilogue. Cyborg repairs that tape recorder, and it's a tape recorder actually, for people that use those nowadays in 2020 or 2017, I suppose, and sci-fi 2017 at that. Yeah, Cyborg repairs that with his powers and listens to the rest of his dad's speech, which goes over goes over a chunk of the epilogue. Aquaman reconnects with Falco, setting up his arc for the Aquaman movie. Ryan Choi is put in charge of Star Labs, which is cool. I like Ryan Choi. Barry gets a job in a crime lab in Central City where he lives. Bruce buys the bank that foreclosed on the Kent farm, which is the thing I didn't mention earlier. so that Martha can move back onto the farm, and so that Superman has his family farm to go to. We cut to Lex Luthor for the first time in the movie since the beginning, and he has escaped from Arkham Asylum and meets up with Deathstroke the Terminator. Luthor then tells Deathstroke about Batman's secret identity. This is a setup for the Injustice League, which I guess is they're going to be villains in Justice League 2 if that ever happens. If they go about it this way, they might reboot the whole thing, sort of. I don't know. We'll see. I won't make any claims. I won't make any definitive claims about it until I see movies. They can say a lot of stuff until the films come out because they've said like 5 different things about the Flash movie so far. So who knows? Then we cut to the Nightmare from Batman v Superman. So that hasn't gone away, which is a bit of a revelation. We see Batman hanging out with an alternate Justice League with Mira, Deathstroke the Terminator without his helmet. He's also played by what's the guy's name?
Sorry?
Mike, the guy who plays Deathstroke, Michael something. What's his name?
I want to say James DeMiglio.
No, I don't think it's that. It's
Joe Mangiai?
oh yeah, Joe Manganiello.
That is close.
Yeah, you were closer than me. So he's in this. Flash is there in something more akin to the suit we saw in Batman v Superman. Cyborg's there, and also the Joker, played by Jared Leto, in a more traditional Joker outfit with like a bulletproof vest and stuff. And him and Batman have a lengthy fucking conversation about their adversarial relationship. I don't know what the point of this is. It probably would have come. This is what I talked about earlier about this being a setup for a later Justice League movie. Like again, it's not like an incomplete film, but it's clearly setting up something else that may or may not happen at this point.
Yeah.
Joker says that Batman let Lois die, which is what Batman was referring to about something darker happening to Lois, which I think this dream is something that would have demonstrated that a bit better. So, because this is a dream Batman is having. I think what's happening is that he's viewing another reality or a future reality, a multiverse. So, and then the scene ends with Superman finding them and coming to kill them. The dream. This is markedly, notably different than what happened in the previous Nightmare from Batman v Superman, where where Batman died in that. Although we didn't see him die, he might have gotten saved. Who knows? Maybe this is a sign that the timeline has changed to some degree. So that's maybe a sign of progress. After Batman awakes from the dream, he is greeted by Martian Manhunter, who's agrees to join the Justice League for the end of the movie. That might mean we're getting John Jones in the next movie. Yay. He's cool. He looks kind of cool in this. He's got a shirtless look going on, or a sleeveless look going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
He looks all right.
I don't think his adaptation is, I'm not going to say up to par, but I mean, I've only ever seen him as a, like, animated cartoon character. So, I don't know if I've ever read any of the comic books in which he was in, so.
They could touch this up a little bit, too, between for a later movie. He's a shapeshifter, so.
And the thing is it takes off a lot of, like, it's a combination of, like, Vision from, like, the Marvel movies. I didn't really overly care for his character because it looks like a lot of, like, plasticky latex usage. But I mean, once again, it's not too far off from Snyder to have his weird leather fetish.
I have been watching WandaVision.
Yeah, I have not.
I'm most of the way through it. I don't really. It's all sitcom stuff, which is I don't like sitcoms. So.
And the way that I look at it is I got Disney Plus the other day, and like all of Futurama is on it currently, and Criminal Minds. Like, why would I be watching anything else right now? Like,
I plan to eventually watch X-Files.
Yeah.
Maybe?
And now I've got
So yeah, that's the end of the movie.
John Oliver, and maybe rewatch Game of Thrones.
My sister has it, so yeah.
So
I
I
guess I borrowed it from my sister. So
I texted Tyler and he wouldn't divulge his Crave information for me. So
I have the better sibling.
probably.
Do we got to like compare Lexi and Tyler now? Is this a competition we got to have?
I mean, I'm just trying to publicly shame him so that like next time I ask him, he'll be like, "Yeah, just don't speak about me on your podcast ever again." Hopefully, that'll work.
I don't know. Does Tyler listen to this? I don't
Oh,
think Lexi
probably
does.
not.
Lexi definitely does. No, Lexi doesn't. Though more of your friends listen to this than mine.
Maybe.
Maybe. Like I don't like if you have 2 people that listen to it that you're doing better than me.
Yeah, I don't think I have that.
Actually, I have one that kind of listens to the occasional episode. I know one guy.
Yeah, so well, like same with Tyler. Tyler will pick up the random episode, or Victoria will pick up the random episode. I guess it kind of depends on the episode. So
Anyway, that's the end of the movie.
mhm.
Shit, that's the end of my notebook too. I gotta get a new notebook for next episode.
And I mean that took a lot less longer than when I initially thought it was going to.
Yeah, no, I figured it would be like this.
I need to allow you to plow through like a lot of the plot because or if I start talking, nothing will ever remotely get done.
Yeah, so I gotta rewatch the other movie, but I think I maybe like the Justice League a bit more.
Yeah, I don't know. I still have my complaints.
No, this isn't that. I'm not giving this a 10 either.
Mhm.
Either of them.
Yeah.
So, any points before we give scores, or do you want to give a score?
I still think I'm gonna give it probably high 6s, low 7s, I think.
Yeah, same for me.
It definitely it capitalizes a lot on characterization more than it does on like funny bits, but I would have liked some more funny bits. Like they really try and force Flash as a comic relief in this, and it just doesn't work because you don't get to see a lot of Flash outside of like, oh, he's our time turner and he runs fast, and like that's all he does throughout this movie. Like they don't show him as like a good fighter or
A smart guy.
yes.
They could have done something else actually. Now that we're thinking about it, he's not like we got Snyborg's the smart guy. Everyone else is a powerhouse. He's just kind of the kid,
Mhm.
really.
Yeah.
Which I mean, who's really a big Barry Allen fan? It's not like people were fine with him being dead for 25 years. He was dead for 20 years. No one cared. And then Jeff Johns is like, I want Barry Allen back. I don't think Jeff Johns talks like that.
Why did you
I think he's from New York or something.
give him the same voice that you did in our Magnificent Seven episode where we did the prospecty voice from like
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I don't care for with Jeff Johns.
I don't know who that is, so
Like he's a big DC Comics guy. I think he's in charge of the movies right now, actually.
oh,
Sort of.
huh.
Or sort of in charge. I forgot how the details are. Like his big claim to fame is Blackest Night. Like that's his baby.
That's Green Lantern, right?
Green Lantern, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I've got nothing.
Yeah, that Green Lantern reboot is the big thing. And like that also involves him bringing back Hal Jordan for I guess it was worth it, but I'm not like a big Hal Jordan fan either. So again, Hal Jordan was also dead for 10 years. No one, and it wasn't the. I guess more people cared that Barry Allen, that Hal Jordan was dead than Barry Allen, because
Yeah.
the transition from Barry Allen to Wally West was very smooth. The transition from Hal Jordan to Kyle Rayner was not as smooth. We don't realize this now because it was so long ago, but that was really controversial back in the day, actually, with a certain group of people, I should say. But it was around.
Mm-hmm. It's
Like if they did that today, you'd hear about it.
It's like I was talking to my son Aiden about the podcast, and he's like, I was like, well, we're doing the Justice League, and he's like, he starts talking about how much he likes the Justice League, and he's like, I like Aquaman, and I'm like, I've never sat down and watched an Aquaman movie, and he's like, well, why haven't you? Because like the Aquaman movie's really good, and I'm like, well, it's Aquaman. Aquaman just doesn't interest me.
Aquaman can be cool.
Mhm.
It's just there's a large portion of time where he isn't. And he's not like getting a ton of like storylines a lot of the time. And he's a side character for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They like the Aquaman is movie is like one of the best things to go with for him. Because a lot of it, I don't know that there's like a big comic storyline for him, like the way there is for a lot of other niche characters that are like really popular with a small group of people.
Yeah.
Like, not that like it's not as if Namor is much better, but he's not. Aquaman is way cooler than Namor, which is saying something. Like, Namor's one job is to be cooler than Aquaman, and he's consistently failed.
But I've also grown up,
Even when Aquaman was lame.
like, I grew up with like television shows and like media that is like, you know who's the lamest superhero?
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know.
But yeah, no, they've done good by him in this, I find. Wonder Woman isn't like Patty Jenkins does a really good job with her in a lot of scenes, especially in Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 1's better than 84, so
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
she's the director of Wonder Woman movies.
Okay.
She definitely looked like, I've had some people complain that Wonder Woman just doesn't have as good a makeup artist in or makeup hair and makeup in Justice League as she does in the Wonder Woman's, which
Mhm.
is totally true when you like look at it. I didn't feel like I got what I wanted out of it.
Not when you're boasting like a 4 hour long runtime, like it's got to be a worth it 4 hours, and that just wasn't not what
It's
I wanted.
I'd much rather sit through Batman v Superman again. It's way
Mhm.
easier to watch. And even that, like this, again, 3 hour version of this, it probably would have been cool. I think that might have been the thing to do, just compromise between Whedon's version and this version.
Yeah, a decent middle ground would have probably made it better. And I mean, I get it. Justice League is a powerhouse, and I think it will be a powerhouse. I think it just needs, I don't know,
We'll get a good one eventually.
one extra movie,
They can
and then
salvage this if they want to.
yeah, but it needs that stepping stone for setup to be able to be like Avengers level good. And I mean, here's my argument. I like the first Avengers. I didn't care for the second Avengers. I can't remember the note that was Infinity Wars. Never mind. I remember what happens in the third Avengers. But like Age of Ultron wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, no, it wasn't all that great. It
So
was okay
if
sometimes, but
the first Justice League is kind of crappy, the second one's hopefully the second one's better. But like if they can pull off a good season 3, I think they're gonna do good. But and they definitely picked one of the better storylines and more recognizable storylines within the last, I don't know, 5 or 10 years of DC, in my opinion. So I think they've got the material to work with, but they need to be building up to it. And I mean, Zack Snyder definitely looks like that's what he's doing with the post-credit scene in the Snyder cut. I shouldn't say post-credits because it's still during the credit scenes, but it's going to be a while. And with COVID, it might even be longer before we see this actually pull itself around.
yeah, who knows what are we even getting after Suicide Squad?
I couldn't tell you.
Black Adam maybe?
See, that's another thing I haven't been really paying attention to is the Shazam universe.
I'm really excited for Black Adam, kind of. It could be really good, but I could be disappointed.
And
If
then
they let The Rock be like he was in Fast 5, it'll be really good, but otherwise it could be crap.
is it The Rock playing?
Yeah, The Rock is playing Black Adam.
Doesn't this character have hair?
No?
No?
Or yeah, I guess,
Black
but he
Adam
doesn't need it.
doesn't have hair. Okay.
No, Black Adam, I guess Black Adam has hair, but I mean, it's always short hair.
I just haven't seen The Rock with hair in a really long time, so
He could be bald pretty easily. That's not like a weird or shaved head pretty easily. I don't think it's a big deal.
And then
They've
like
had him be bald. Yeah.
I don't know what is like Zack Snyder's weird fascination with Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, but he plays it here and he plays it over a sex scene in The Watchmen. Like
Right.
he really like he
I mean, it's a good song.
it's a post credit song, but like why do you gotta keep on just forcing it? Like every chance
I
he got,
mean,
he just threw it into like
I think it's fine. Whatever. So next week, Togashi. That'll be fun. That is in 2 weeks.
mhm.
This might come out in like 2 parts, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 2. You can find us on Twitter at KCCCC, on Facebook at Kyle and Cody's called CinemaCast, and our Instagram at.
Kyle and Cody's called CinemaCast also.
Okay, yeah, so check that out. That's new. Remember, if you haven't, go listen to our Yannick Ambrose interview. It's pretty fun. We talk a lot about with him with stuff. So yeah, see you guys in 2 weeks. We're on the bi-weekly schedule now, so keep that in mind.
Yes, but I think every second week while you're waiting for an episode, every Monday we are going to start doing about a minute previews on all of our upcoming podcasts. So stay tuned for some of those. We did this last week with a little snippet on our Yannick episode, but we didn't quite do it on a Monday before the.
I just put it when I got it out. Yeah, so see you guys next week. Or 2 weeks. See you guys. Goodbye. Welcome, listeners. Welcome to season 3 of Kyle and Cody's Cult CinemaCast. I'm Kyle.
I am Cody.
Yeah, season 3. Long time coming. Been a couple weeks. I suppose you guys got the Yannick Ambrose interview last week, so that'll be coming off of that. You might have known. I don't know if I cut this out or not, but we did change what we're doing for episode 1 to be a little bit more timely. We're gonna review in honor of like a callback to our season 1 finale. We're gonna review the Justice League Zack Snyder cut, the 4-hour long Snyder cut.
Yeah, I fell asleep during this
Yeah,
one
you
too.
fall asleep during a lot of
There's not
movies.
pretty much any movie I'll fall asleep to. It doesn't matter.
I mean, it was your idea though, so
It definitely was my idea, and I think what we had slated in for this episode was like the Avengers.
yeah, the 97 Avengers,
So-
which coming in May. That'll be the first May episode now.
Yes.
Next week we got I actually haven't told you about the what exactly I had in mind. We're gonna do Togashi. That might be a wrong pronunciation, but it's North Korean Godzilla. So get excited for that.
Okay, so just enlighten me on this. Was that the one that like Kim Jong Un's father like kidnapped 2 North Korean like filmmakers and then forced him to make
I mean, don't spoil the whole thing, but
essentially
yes.
movies for him? Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there was kidnapping involved. We'll talk about that next week though. And then end of May we'll start the season 3 sub theme of adaptations that never should have been made, book adaptations. I guess while we're doing this, season 3 is going to be a bit more Cody's season, a lot more stuff he's come up with, and more like he made up the sub theme. He's picked a good number of the movies, and yeah, he'll be pulling the reins on a couple episodes actually, so that'll be a bit different. So it's going to be a very exciting time. And yeah, that's I suppose our groundwork for season 3. So I guess we'll move on to our 4-hour Justice League cut. So background on
I'm assuming this is going to be
I don't
a 2-parter.
maybe I might be able to get it. We'll see.
This is a
Yeah.
lot.
I might. It's
In connotation, like we've done Braveheart, and that was a 3-hour long movie, and we did it in 3
Yeah.
parts.
Though they were short parts, so they were only each like 45 minutes or something, right?
Yeah, but like it still took us 3 hours
Oh
to
yeah.
record.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to take 4 hours to do. I think I didn't have like a ton of notes, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so background on this for those of you who aren't in the know, in 2017 they released the Justice League movie, which was a sequel to Man of Steel and then Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. That movie, and then when Justice League released, it was a bit of a flop. It didn't make terrible money, but it didn't make it maybe just barely turned over, barely made enough money. It didn't do very well. I think it maybe only made 600 million or something. So a lot of fans were disappointed in the product because Zack Snyder has a bit of a reputation at this point of like having being a bit of a director's cut director, where like the studio cut out a ton of stuff. The Batman v Superman movie had about a half hour of stuff cut from it, so that was
Mm-hmm.
preventing, and that made the movie worse, and they could have at least done it better. So that gave people the idea that there was a like a ultimate cut of Justice League. But complicating that matter, between principal photography and post production, one of Zack Snyder's daughters, he has 8 kids. I think at least he has more than one daughter. I just know he has 8 kids. But one of his daughters, Autumn, committed suicide, and he pulled himself from the project for perfectly understandable reasons that we can all understand. That's well within his rights. You wouldn't expect anyone else not to do this. And then they brought in Joss Whedon to do post production and some reshoots and make what we'll call, for the purposes of this, the Whedon cut of Justice League. Joss Whedon was also the guy who directed the Avengers movie, the first 2 Avengers movies. He's done stuff on Firefly, Buffy the Vampire, and he's known for being a big popcorn flick guy, which is in contrast with Zack Snyder, who's being like who's a bit more of a somewhat a popcorn flick guy, but it's a lot more auteur football kind of movies, I'll call it, where like it's really meant to be epic and a lot of and like really self-serious, and it's not something a lot of people like. His cut of Dawn of the Dead is somewhat controversial, or his version of Dawn of the Dead remake. We did the first one in season 1, so go look that up. And I have Dawn of the Dead, the remake, planned for season 4, so keep an eye out for that in a year and a half. So yeah, a lot of people really don't like his work. His movie Sucker Punch isn't really liked. A lot of people really hate his Watchmen movie, which is the adaptation of the Alan
300.
300's liked though. I think if you dislike 300, you dislike 300. That's not it's maybe his least controversial movie. It's almost certainly his least controversial movie, actually. It's the one everyone likes, because that doesn't really make any implications that it's any more serious than it's supposed to be. And that's maybe where a lot of people feel that Zack Snyder belongs in terms of filmmaking, is making films like that. And so yeah, he didn't get to make the theatrical cut of Justice League, so that was that, and like everyone was wanting the Snyder cut, which didn't exist really. I did a little news thing about this like a year ago during season 1 at some point, but the Snyder cut didn't exist. There might have been some like unpost produced shots that might have been in there, like with green screen and whatnot, but no, they couldn't have made Zack Snyder's version of the movie with the with what they had and without putting more money into it. But thankfully, when COVID-19 hit and there was a big pandemic, a lot of film projects were put on hold. but because there's a lot of because making the Snyder cut would have might have required them. My theory, at least, is that they had a bunch of different shots of the movie that were unmade and had no digital effects added in, and then when they had the COVID-19 pandemic hit, they had all these digital effect guys just sitting around in their homes waiting for some work. So they're like, "Hey, go do this." There were, of course, some reshoots too, but a lot of I think that some of these shots did exist, and that Joss Whedon did have access to when he was making his version of the movie. But it was I think it was a matter of what shots you decide to do the digital green screen stuff on. So because of COVID-19, we got this, which yeah, I
Mhm.
wouldn't trade. I'd trade this movie to not have COVID-19. Sure, this movie would have to be really fucking good for me not to trade it to get rid of COVID. Like I don't know what movie would like. I'd get rid of I'd get rid of most of my favorite movies in order to get rid of COVID. To be fair, it seems like a fair thing to do.
Are they relaunching the Suicide Squad?
Sort of. They got It is a sequel because yeah, they're making a new Suicide Squad. It's got Margot Robbie in it, but they've replaced Will Smith with Idris Elba. I think.
No, he's playing Bloodsport.
Is someone playing Deadshot or
He's playing Bloodsport,
Squad
not
2?
Deadshot.
Really?
Different character apparently.
Oh, I thought he was. Let me just look at the poster here because I'll get a good. Oh, damn it. Oh,
Elba was originally cast to replace Will Smith
okay.
as Deadshot, but the character was changed to Bloodsport to allow Will Smith to reprise the role in the future.
Okay. Yeah.
And John Cena is coming in.
Yeah. No, that's why I thought that because I don't actually follow the movies as much as you would have think. I just I like to be surprised when I walk into the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Just how I operate.
Did Sylvester Stallone voice the original voice of King Shark? No, King Shark wasn't on.
Nope. Yeah.
I was thinking of the
Yeah.
crocodile.
No, they had Ooh, he was good. That guy that played the Killer Croc in the first one. I liked him. I forget who Bloodsport is.
I'm more concerned about John Cena's character.
I mean, he's not playing John. I don't know if he's playing John. I think he might be okay in it, actually.
A ruthless killer who believes in achieving peace at any cost. Cena describes him as a douchey Captain America.
Yeah,
While director James Gunn said the character was straight out of a 1970s television series like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he could be all right. I'm trying to bring up the guy who played Killer Croc. He was good. Damn it! Why are they? This is confused Google because fucking they're bringing up the cast list for both.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have like a second name to it. It's just the Suicide Squad.
Oh, it was Adalwale. His last name's too long. Akinoue Agavje. I'm just doing that. I'm sorry, buddy. You were good in the movie. But yeah, he's an English actor, and he was pretty good, damn good. I liked him. I don't know why Killer Croc stuck with me so much, but I liked them. Anyway, and while we're on this, there's been some mention of like releasing an Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. That's not happening. Like that.
What?
Like
cut?
Ayer's David Ayer is the director of Suicide Squad 1. Yeah, no, that movie does not. I guarantee you that movie does not have some superior version like Batman v Superman did. Yeah. This one barely did. They clearly had stuff, but they still had to like do some reshoots to get this out in the office, and they put like a ton of money into it for not a ton of dividends. I think it's like the third biggest thing on HBO Max, which isn't a big deal, really. They did Wonder Woman 84 too, and I saw that recently. That's all right. Wonder Woman 84 is all right.
There's a lot of DC projects that I haven't really went back and watched it. Like I still haven't seen
Aquaman's
Aquaman.
good.
I ended up buying the original Joss Whedon Justice League cut because I went to Amazon And when I first initially was looking for the movie, I ended up buying a copy off of Amazon because I was like, oh, it's brand new. Of course, they wouldn't have a rent option. So I bought the version thinking it was the actual like Snyder cut and it was the Joss Whedon cut. And I paid $15 for it because they didn't have a fucking rent option for Joss Whedon's super Justice League apparently.
So basic thing about the differences, just like if you don't want to like if you want like a brief summary of what the differences are, Joss Whedon's Justice League is half as long. It's 2 hours instead of this movie's 4. That was something that the studio was insisting upon at the time because they were trying to ape whatever Disney was doing because people just like whatever Disney does pretty well. Yeah, no, I don't. I like a lot of Disney stuff too. It's just I don't care. I'm not like I really did like the Snyder versions. But yeah, this is kind of the end of the Snyder stuff too. I don't think they're gonna do much more of it. Snyder might do some more projects, but I think he's on to other stuff. He's doing his Dawn of the Dead sequel, Army of the Dead. I think that's out pretty soon. But yeah, this is twice as long as the theatrical cut. It adds substantial sequences. Though, you know what? I found myself missing some of the Joss Whedon stuff that they took out. We'll talk a little bit about this as we go through it, but like I did miss like some of Joss Whedon's stuff. I didn't think like what was good. Like I don't think Joss Whedon could have made this movie into like Avengers quality, but I think you could like do like a fan cut of this where like you take the best parts of both and come out with a fairly decent movie. I think that'd be a fun project if you had a ton of time on your hands.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
maybe.
you could make this. I think a 3-hour cut of this movie would have been good. I think 4 hours is way too much. You can cut an hour out of this movie.
Like, there's a weird line we're playing on here where 2 hours is not enough and 4 hours is too much, and like 3.5 hours maybe.
Yeah, I think 3. I think you could have gotten this an even 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm not disappointed. I'm not like clamoring for like more of this though. It's like okay, this is all right. They still did do some dumb things in this though. And Zack Snyder does do dumb stuff. I'm not going to defend everything he does. I'm not that kind of Snyder fan. Just no one should be that kind of anything fan. Don't defend everything anyone does. Everything yeah. It's I don't find it as dour as like I don't find Zack Snyder stuff to be as dour as a lot of people talk about it as. Like everyone's just like, ugh, Superman never smiles in any of these movies, and it's all so sad all the time. And I'm like, yeah, that seems normal. Like, I just don't buy into some of the really bad interpretations of Snyder's work. Like Snyder might even, but I read it in like a bit of a different way. I don't know how nuanced this is going to be. I did just finish the movie today, so I haven't had like a year to reflect on it. But yeah, what are your initial thoughts?
Initially, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the perspective I have on this movie is botched by the fact that like it was picked up by HBO Max and that it was limited released only to HBO.
Yeah, they had it on.
I love HBO.
Yeah. They have it on. They have it on Crave here in Canada, which was terrible because Crave wouldn't load on my computer. I don't know what the deal is. I just could not get it to load on my computer. I had to watch it on my tablet, which wasn't bad. I have like a nicer tablet, but still not like ideal.
And initially, like once again, I didn't have really a good basis for what this movie was going to be like because once again, I've seen Batman v Superman. I kind of remember the last 2 Superman movies, and like the only other basis I have for Zack Snyder's work is his 300 and his The Watchmen, which I've generally disliked The Watchmen because it's like one of the best comic books within the last like century, and I feel like that kind of makes it untouchable.
Yeah,
Um,
Snyder's is like definitely inferior and doesn't like kind of like leaves like kind of undermines some of the points the books has when you get down to it, but we're not here to get into that really. Unless
mhm.
Cody wants to do an episode on Watchmen for adaptations that shouldn't have been made, but
I've considered it. I'm not gonna lie to you, but like,
although I don't know what I'm making for the sub theme yet. I haven't really decided. I've gone back and forth on
mhm.
one that I'm pretty sure about, but I don't have a second one.
I haven't really definitively put anything down, so
Yeah, just pick one for the end of May.
it very much could so make it on that list because I think I've come back to this movie a lot.
Did you ever watch Whedon like the theatrical Justice League? Okay.
No, no. I saw that it was the wrong Justice League, and then I was like, I might have like started it and then just kind of put it down because at some point in time,
I
um,
watch all these in theaters, of course. So
mostly because I think there was a very big disconnect for me within the whole DC universe. Like I haven't seen Wonder Woman. I didn't watch Aquaman, so I wasn't really pumped for the Justice League because like one half of the like movie preparation watch list I haven't really done, and I feel like I'd be missing out on too much
well,
just to watch the Justice League as a standalone thing, right? So,
Justice League, you just need to watch Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. Like you don't need to watch Wonder Woman to understand Justice League or Aquaman.
I thought Justice League or sorry, not Justice League. I thought Wonder Woman introduced Steppenwolf.
Not really. I think he might have been teased in it, but he's not in it. I don't think. Not at length. Not
Ah,
certainly not at
okay.
any like length. No.
Actually, that's not true. Maybe I
Yeah.
did watch Wonder
Yeah.
Woman.
Wonder Woman's a prequel to all of them, which can be watched on its own pretty easily. And Aquaman takes place after Justice League. So, but watch Aquaman. Aquaman's
Mhm.
fucking good.
That's what I keep on hearing, and I like Jason Momoa, and I don't know why I haven't pulled the trigger on it, but kind of my movie watching has been very limited too, which is dumb because like I'll watch TV series before I go to bed just because if I fall asleep in it, it's not like any like even this. I think when I fell asleep, I went back and I rewatched it, and I was like, how much of that movie did I actually miss by falling asleep? Because like I woke up and the credits were playing. I'd fallen asleep at the 2 hour, 2.5 hour
Yeah, my
mark.
big complaint is I thought more of the stuff they were going to add was going to be backloaded more than anything.
What do you mean by that?
Like, they lengthened the front half of this movie by a lot. Like, it is long.
Mhm.
They take maybe an hour and turn it into 2.5.
So I guess with that being said, because you have seen like the Justice League cut, how much of that was filler compared to like the Snyder cut? Like, what did the Snyder cut add in that was
We'll get into some of this, but it's not
so
so
great?
much filler. Like, I think a lot of this stuff was
Mhm.
definitely filmed. I think it's like with a lot of stuff early in the movie, this is stuff that was clearly filmed during principal filming and was there. Because, like, here's the thing they don't tell you about like mainstream movies: they film like 6 different endings for all of this. They just never, you'll just never see them. Like, not even deleted scenes. They'll just throw it out because it's not worth anything. It's like, okay, this is something we're gonna try and like just in case we feel like it, but we'll throw it. We're almost certainly throw it out. I think I'll famously like if you ever go into like if you ever want to see this demonstrated, get like the DVD of like X-Men 3 and watch that movie and then watch the deleted scenes. It's literally just the last 5 minutes of that movie just replaced and doing the exact opposite and to see what things like test audiences liked better. Cuz yeah, they do, and I think this is actually They had like some twins doing like the like another example. They had some twins doing the Han Solo movie, and they got fired because they weren't doing enough of these extra shots that Kathleen Kennedy wanted. So this is a big thing in Hollywood they don't talk about.
I don't know who Kathleen Kennedy is.
She's the guy. She's the lady in charge of Star Wars at Disney.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, like here's what happened essentially. They did maybe like a ton of they did like a ton of shooting, and like there's maybe like 45 minutes like filming for each of these scenes, and Zack Snyder kept like half an hour of it, and then just Joss Whedon kept like maybe 15 minutes of it. So it's not so much filler, it's that they're working off like keeping in extra shots and like showing everything. Like there's a big obnoxious landscape shot early in the movie where they're showing like the Norwegian Scandinavian coast, which is really boring and like obnoxious, especially when you're just watching on a little tablet and on theater.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that would have been even worse for you because it was a 4:3
yeah,
shots,
yeah,
right?
this film's in 4:3 for some reason.
Which would like I don't know how big your
Um,
tablet is in hindsight, so
yeah,
I can't really see how I'd say how
it's
big that would have been, but yeah.
it's like a big handbook essentially. It's not the
Okay,
super
so it's a
big one.
fairly
It's like bigger than a novel, like a big novel, maybe like a hardback. It's
Mhm.
not like obviously the super big one, but yeah, it's pretty long, and yeah, they take like scenes that Joss Whedon cut to like a lot of it, and you can see why he did it. Like you can see why Joss Whedon cut a lot of what he did. I don't necessarily think. I think because that was the thing. I didn't think Joss Whedon's thing was that much too shorter than it needed to be. Like they could have maybe added a half hour to that and had it been very serviceable. It's more just like Joss Whedon did some things to add on to the tone, which made it kind of nice. Of course, there's some things where like Joss Whedon was not prepared to like own up to some of the plot points that Zack Snyder left on the ground. And I don't think, and like ultimately, Zack Snyder wasn't even capable of fulfilling his promises on this. Like this was either going to be like the best movie ever made or not very good, and like or like sort of mediocre at best. So, and it's sort of mediocre at best. It's not that great. It's all right. And
Mhm.
like it's fine for me because I'm like really tolerant of it. But there was also like some concern that some people had. The guy from Comic Story and Benny, he pointed out when they were talking about this years like a couple years ago, was like no, because all that was going to be in the Snyder cut was just him setting up for Justice League 2. And yeah, that's kind of true based on now that I've seen it. There's a lot of setup for Justice League 2 in this. Not to like a insufferable extent, but or that like it would make this not to the extent this is an incomplete movie, but yeah, it doesn't certainly doesn't complete all the character moments that Zack Snyder kind of promised. Batman does like a lot of Batman's character development between these two movies is done kind of off screen in this. You do notice what's not there, and that's why I like point out like you should just combine these two movies, and you'll get something that's sort of cool. But yeah,
So the theatrical cut of the movie was PG-13, and the Snyder cut was an R rating.
yeah, there's a lot more swear words in this.
I only heard one.
No, there's a few. There's a son of a bitch. There's a fuck. There's a couple shits. So yeah, There's more swears in this. A bit more from Cyborg. Honestly, Cyborg does get the most
Mhm.
benefit from this movie. I think. Like it's not perfect, but he does have like a complete character arc in this, and I think that like they should have made him like the lead character for this a lot more than they did. Like center this around Cyborg, and I think that would have been.
I mean, I guess they got a little bit more of an arc than like Ezra Miller's The Flash,
I think he's all right in this.
where they could. I feel like I liked him in it, but I feel like his backstory was kind of shoehorned in.
That's they're doing the Geoff Johns Barry Allen backstory in this, where like Barry Allen's dad is in jail for murdering his mom, Barry's mom, not his dad, not his grandma. But that's a very weird backstory that just sort of appeared when Geoff John decided it to. I don't know if like Barry Allen's parents just weren't mentioned at all before he died on Crisis on Infinite Earths. But like I don't know. That is weird. That's always been weird to me that that's his motivation. They don't explain how he got his powers in this at all. Yeah, Ezra Miller's just okay. I just don't like his. I don't understand why they cut his hair for this. Like he had like long hair in the Batman v Superman scene that he was in, and then they cut his hair for this, so he looks all dorky. I should know. It's my haircut.
Well, the point in time. The point in time that he was directing this or acting in this, it was a year after, or maybe even longer, after he started working on Fantastic Beasts.
Is
Where
he?
to find them? So
who is he in that?
He plays the
orphan guy.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
the orphan guy. Credence Barebone.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, okay, I understand.
And then he got in trouble for potentially choking a woman.
I imagine that's why that might be why the Flash movie hasn't gotten made. And that's, I don't know, I don't care. I don't care about a lot of these extra movies being made. They could restart the whole thing for all I care. What else is there? But yeah, I think so. The movie opens up with a flashback of Superman's death. This is different from the Joss Whedon version. In that one, they just showed a bunch of the people mourning him to like clarify he was dead. I kind of like that better. In this, Superman does like a super death scream, which awakens some of the mother boxes, which are for those of you not in the know, is like this technology in the DC Comics universe that is essentially they're sentient machines that, among other things, allow you to teleport via these things called boom tubes, which are wormholes, which make a boom sound, and they're associated with these different characters called the New Gods, which are essentially the big ultimate bad guys in Justice League or in the DC universe. The villain in this, Steppenwolf, is one, and Darkseid is the main popular one, and they are from the world of Apocalypse, which is a big thing. And that's so yeah, Superman dying causes all these sentient machines to kind of wake up and start calling to their master, and that'll eventually attract the new god Steppenwolf, who is a big man with a axe and like spiky armor, and we see like a result of his clip from the end of the Batman v Superman Ultimate Cut, where he's standing in front of Lex Luthor holding a mother box. So that's last we see of Luthor till the end of the movie. Actually, thought he was going to be more in this. For some reason, they made a big deal about Leto getting into this as the Joker, but he wasn't really in this a lot. He just shows up at the end. That's something they did for the reshoots.
Yeah, but the one thing I gotta say is at least they rebranded Jared Leto's Joker.
I didn't mind the old Joker either. He was in the movie for 5 minutes. I hated the old Joker.
So
get over it. Exactly. He was in it for 5 minutes. Who cares? Which is Jared Leto's only allowed to be in a movie for 5 minutes. I don't know how he's going to star in the Morbius.
I don't know what that is.
I was surprised he was. It's a Spider-Man spinoff that Sony's making.
I was way wrong.
Who knows? Might be good. That's funny that Jared Leto's only ever in a movie for 5 minutes, and like he's only in Blade Runner 2049 for 5 minutes, and that movie's 3 hours long. So how you're only in that for 5 minutes?
It's like a whole hour shorter than this movie
for similar reasons. That movie's long. There's a lot of like long tracking shots in this. Like this is a long sequence where Superman is screaming.
Mm-hmm.
So all the mother boxes hear that. They've called Steppenwolf. It wakes the different mother boxes, and There's one being held by Cyborg, who's in this. Cyborg is DC comic book character who you may know from the Teen Titans. He has been drafted into Justice League comics in recent years. He is not associated as much with the Teen Titans anymore, which is weird. But yeah, he's being played by Ray Fisher. Short version, like this gets explained a little bit later where he comes from, but he is a half man, half cyborg, and he has one of the mother boxes. Another mother box is in Atlantis, where Aquaman is from, but we currently see another character named Mira, who we don't get a detailed explanation of in this. We see her just around. She is eventually Aquaman's future wife. For more on that, see Aquaman, which is a really good movie. And they also awaken one in Themyscira, which is my first little timing issue between this and Snyder Cut. It feels like the Snyder Cut gave you the Whedon Cut gave you the impression that there had been a bit of time between Batman v Superman and this, but it feels like this takes place pretty well immediately afterwards, because they basically move right into the Themyscira scene where the Amazons, who are where Wonder Woman is from. I gotta explain so much here. Wonder Woman is obviously the world's most famous female superhero. She comes from an island of the Greek Amazon, like an adaptation of the Greek Amazons, who are this warrior women situation, and they have a hidden island. And Wonder Woman came from there, but she is not living there anymore. So, but they have one of the mother boxes. So Steppenwolf then proceeds to go there and steal one of the mother boxes, having a big fight with them, for which Diana's mother, Hippolyta, fights him off. But Steppenwolf does eventually escape with the mother box over a lengthy sequence.
Yeah, so in my opinion, this fight went on way too long, and like the Amazons, in my opinion, weren't very well equipped to fight somebody who is wearing armor, apparently.
I mean, it's kind of working on Wakanda rules where everyone has spears, but they're also like really powerful, and they're made of like special metals, and they're really powerful. And like in some versions, not in this, in some versions, the Themyscirans have a lot more technology. In this, they don't really.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they can take. They're essentially half Wonder Womans usually.
Yeah.
So they're more equipped than you'd think. So yeah, that's our first big action scene. It is extended from the Whedon cut by a bit. I don't know by like too much, but it's especially drained down by all the non-action scenes, which are made longer.
Yeah.
It's like this. I'm glossing over this pretty quick because it seems like it, but not really, because it's not that much more happening than what I'm saying.
Also, when they've prepared this like burial chamber, but they prepared it very stupidly.
Yeah.
Because one of the shots shows up over the top, and like from the top you can, because they cut from the top of this building down into the whatchamacallit to show the mother box through a glass ceiling.
Yeah, I suppose.
So there's a giant hole in the ceiling where they could have just simply, I don't know, flew
I
into.
think it is sealed off, but
yeah, but like by glass.
it might be super glass though. Anyway, it doesn't end up mattering.
Don't explain it away by saying it could be super glass though. What the fuck is super glass, Kyle?
Super glass.
No, that's not a thing. You can't just throw the word super in front of a regular acting word and make it like magical. It's glass.
Sure I can.
No.
This is comic books, Cody.
That's not how.
Where do you think you are? Of course I can. This is comic books. You can do whatever you want.
That's not the case.
Yeah, it is. There's literally a guy in the new Suicide movie that's just arm fall off boy.
In the what?
And that's his superpower. He yells Shazam and his arms come off.
But in what though?
And fly off. In the new Suicide Squad movie. And in the comics.
Yeah, but I don't take Suicide Squad seriously at all. I feel
You
I
not
feel
supposed to take any of it
I feel
seriously.
like Suicide Squad initially was just to have all these B-list like superheroes that don't really have,
Villains.
well, yeah, but like didn't really have a real place in their original comics to kind of try and make like a, it's like if Marvel right now was currently going to produce like a Squirrel Girl movie. I'd watch it. But like,
Ugh, I wouldn't.
why?
Fuck Squirrel Girl. She
she
sucks. It's
she
like
defeated
it's
Thanos
trying to.
single-handedly.
No one cares.
Single-handedly.
She doesn't do anything. Nothing she does matters.
Exactly. Kind of like the
Nothing
Suicide
matters.
Squad. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, but they like fight to save everybody and they kick ass and
Do they though?
yeah. So then we see Bruce riding up to the Scandinavian coast side to try to find Aquaman, which is there's another Batman scene before this in the Whedon cut where Batman fights a parademon, which I think is kind of a loss. I kind of didn't mind that scene. It's not a very necessary scene. I get why Snyder cut it out, is because Batman's character arc in this is that he's trying to bring together the League to absolve himself of his sin of getting Superman killed,
Mhm.
sort of. Actually, maybe yeah, he did definitely contribute to that. He didn't seem to go into that fight strong as he could have. That's definitely an argument you could be having. So yeah, at this point we're introduced to this movie having parts.
Also dumb, and they could have cut this whole sequences.
Yeah, they could cut a lot of this out. Like they like the Whedon cut does have most of these recruitment scenes, but a lot shorter.
Mhm.
And like I thought that was perfectly serviceable. It made the first act go pretty quickly. And they changed a bunch of the music too. Like for example, as after Batman meets Aquaman and Aquaman ends up walking on off to the shore and into the shore at the middle of a storm and like slowly takes his shirt off for the audience's enjoyments, and that is replaced with that has somber music in this, but in the but in the movie it's a lot more I'll call it what it is, stripper music for the purposes of this. That is absolutely part of like the first half of like a Jason Momoa strip show, which I may have just sold you this movie. You
um,
just you do you get a luxurious shot of Jason Momoa taking his shirt off and showing off his hunky abs and pectorals.
it's one of those scenes where I was very confused about like the
Sexually?
uh don't get your hopes up too much there, Kyle. About like what are the semantics of having to bring in like a Nordic choir into a scene?
That's not in that's also not in the Whedon cut, by the way. They cut that. That's just something they added here. They treat like Aquaman very much like a kind of a god in this, which again,
He
joke
technically
about
is half god?
one more
Half
joke.
god? No.
Yeah,
No,
no, but
no.
I mean, add one more joke about Jason Momoa being really sexy. Hey,
Uh
I'm not the one who made him take his shirt off 5 times.
yeah, but like I don't get the reason why he's taking his shirt off.
I mean, I understand it. It's just not for
Do
me
do you though?
necessarily, but it's no, yeah, it's
Like
because Jason Momoa.
okay, so it has
It's
nothing to,
fan service, Cody.
okay, so it has nothing to do with like, oh, he's gonna go swimming now. He's gotta take his shirt off.
Well, yeah, you do have to go take your shirt off when you go swimming.
Like the shirt, like the water's not gonna like weigh him down. Apparently, like the fabric.
Oh yeah, it makes swimming harder. That's why you don't go in the pool with your clothes on. It makes it's harder to get out.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is that the reason?
yeah. If you wear enough, yeah, no. If you wear enough clothing, and if you're wearing like a heavy enough sweater or whatnot when you're in the pool, it can make it harder to swim out. You push a woman in a bridal gown off a bridge and she might drown. It's a thing. It's how Ophelia died in Hamlet.
I don't think that's true.
It is true.
What the fuck? How did Ophelia die?
Anyway, we get
Hamlet.
introduced to the parts in this movie. The first part's called "Don't Count on It, Batman," in response to Aquaman saying, "Don't count on a Batman," when Batman asks Aquaman to join his Justice League because he's convinced there's a war coming, which there is. He has good reason to believe that. He mostly believes that because Lex Luthor said something was coming. We know from the Ultimate Cut, but not the theatrical cut, because they cut that out of the... because that was a thing they didn't feel was necessary for the theatrical audience to know that there was Darkseid coming for the next movie. Anyway, so yeah, Batman is not able to recruit Aquaman, who's kind of like not interested. The village is very interested in keeping like him a secret. Even when Bruce Wayne tries to bribe the village with $25,000 to get information, which, I mean, this is just bad remote villaging. Like you obviously here's what you do: you take the dumb rich white guy's money every year, and then you just tell them whatever they want to hear, and then they come back every year, and then you get another $25,000 the next year, and you just make bank.
I don't know why you needed to snap to punctuate your point here.
I mean, I might cut that out. But no, this is how this is like. I mean, you make money off this.
Sure.
Why do you think they pretend there's giant dinosaurs in the middle of the African Nile basin? Because some dumb rich white guy will come every year and pay you $10,000 to go find something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that happens. We talk about how the Scandinavian choir sings off Aquaman as he leaves. It's weird. It not terribly necessary. Again, this is way longer in this than the Whedon cut, and that goes for all these introductions. We get some clips cut in of Martha Kent and Lois Lane wandering around through this. They do a dumb thing in this where in the Whedon cut it's implied that Batman was keeping in contact with Lois. In this, he's not doesn't seem to be. Because she's relevant for the plot later, Lois Lane, but Batman doesn't use her for that. So it's kind of just a coincidence, which is not a thing that it was in the original. So it's just a weird choice. I was surprised by a lot of things that didn't end up being...
Lois Lane to shoehorn in the Martian Manhunter, and then the Martian Manhunter was used to shoe in Lois Lane?
No, Martian Manhunter's not in the Whedon cut.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, and like they shoehorn him in halfway through the movie, and that's completely pointless. He has a cameo where he shows up as Martha Kent to tell Lois to go to work, and yeah, there's no reason for it. It's just like, oh yeah, now.
And I like how he shows up in the middle of the movie and he shows up at the end of the movie.
Yeah, he could have just shown up at the end of the movie.
Didn't even help to come fight Steppenwolf though.
Yeah, but he could have just shown up. There could have been reasons for that. He could have been a Mars. He's a Martian. He could have been on Mars.
Also, the Martian Manhunter is that like it's kind of just really outdated in my opinion. Correct?
I mean, he's been around all the time.
Yeah, but he's been around since like the early ages of comic books. You'd think they'd like try and rebrand him out or something.
Yeah, no, he's more or less just been associated with the Justice League for since the 70s, so they haven't really had too much solo effectiveness with him.
Oh,
at least sales wise. Yeah, he's mostly Justice League stuff.
Huh.
Which he's good in. I like him there. He's kind of like a bit redundant because he makes Superman redundant is more accurate because he can like substitute for Superman when needed him. So you don't need to have Superman in the books. So, but they frequently do.
That's stupid and weird.
Yeah, the Justice League's a little weird in general.
I didn't think that like the Martian Manhunter has even remotely the same powers as Superman.
No, he has like Superman's powers plus like shape-shifting and telepathy.
Oh.
Except he doesn't have some of like Superman's weird powers like super hypnotism or shooting little men from his hands.
You can bring this back up for me. Did they bring back Superman's frost breath in this movie, or was that already established in earlier Superman movies?
It's Did they use it at all in Man of Steel or Batman v Superman?
I don't think so.
He does some super breath, I think, but I don't know if he does the frost breath thing.
Huh, that's dumb.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of things that I just know he uses.
Hmm.
But I mean, when you use it, like to break chains or whatnot. You can't freeze people with it; that would kill them.
Sure, to like argue semantics. I know it's dumb and you know it's dumb and you just won't admit it. Like,
yeah. I guess they didn't really. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he used it at some point. Like I haven't watched Man of Steel in a while.
mhm.
Could have used it in that pretty easily. Yeah, he uses heat vision a lot more, which is a more iconic power, to be honest. But yeah, because he doesn't use super breath a ton in general. But yeah,
It just felt like weird inclusion for something that they've like maybe even purposefully wrote out.
I don't know that they wrote it out. They just didn't use it.
That's essentially writing it out, in my opinion.
I guess it's just not intentional.
Yes, but like in non-intentional not using of the frost breath, I kind of gave him like it was a plus in my books because I always found that frost breath was completely and entirely like a very like 19 early comic book superpower. Like
He uses it in the cartoons a lot more.
exactly. Like when you're trying to gear it towards children, it's used.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a bit of a thing. We cut to two vans going through London. They're full of terrorists that Wonder Woman has to stop. They're neo-Luddites, which is lame. Like, do literally anything else with the terrorist guys. Like, call somebody out. Jesus.
And like you have an absolute clown as the prime minister of the United, or well,
Not the time when Justice League was filmed though.
what?
Yeah, no, Boris Johnson wasn't Prime Minister of England when in 2017 when this movie was originally filmed.
But was he not?
No, he won rather recently actually.
I didn't think he did.
No, he like he took over for Theresa May at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly, but it's only a few years, I think.
Oh wow, 2019. That was very recently.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that long ago. But yeah, Wonder Woman kills a guy with her ability to like slam her bracelets together and do a big shockwave. And then one of the children is just like, "Can I be like you?" And I'm like, "That's a bad choice, Zach." Like, I guess the guy might not be dead. Seems like he's dead though. They show his hat like going off into the street and like landing on a cop car.
Oh no, he's 100% definitely dead. I had more.
And I'm the guy that, yeah, like I'm the guy who says that that guy that Superman tackled on BVS wasn't dead. So if I'm saying this guy's dead,
Yeah, so I never actually really understood these like the terrorist group's motivation here.
yeah, they're neo-Luddites, which means they want to bring everything back to medieval times.
Sure,
It's dumb. It's
but
a
but
holdover.
their plot was to bring a bomb and then kill
Yeah.
themselves.
My assumption is they're parked like a block over from Downing Street or something, so they would have blown up the Parliament. I don't know. It's dumb. They're in a museum or something. It's not
They're
a
like, we're gonna take
again.
out
Just use a real.
4 square blocks, and I'm like, what? Like, how's that supposed to send
Yeah,
people back to the Stone Age if you're only destroying 4 blocks?
it's the UK. There's actual fascists you can use. No one's gonna be mad at you, except people you wouldn't give, whose opinion you wouldn't even think about giving a shit about.
Mm-hmm.
Beat up some British Nazis. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. I guess that's interspersed with like a cut back to the fight with the Amazons. I'm reordering this so it's a bit more coherent. So after Steppenwolf gets the mother box, Hippolyta fires an arrow into the shrine of the Amazons with magic in order to warn Diana so that she can be ready to fight Steppenwolf. And so she's ready to do all this. And this brings us into part 2, the Age of Heroes. Steppenwolf is shut up in this place that's not Chernobyl.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, I guess, is Chernobyl not radioactive anymore?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Could be. I don't know what the half-life and all this stuff is. So essentially, the plot is that he's going to gather all three mother boxes, which are on Earth. The mother boxes will join together to form this thing called the Unity, which will essentially destroy all life on Earth, and that's his plan.
This is very vague
He does this because he's evil. Yeah,
because like this whole like plot line just seems shoehorned.
the plot it's taken from in the comics is the New 52 opening, which is essentially just Steppenwolf coming and wrecking shit. It's not all that complicated, and they come like it's discovered later that the Earth is home to has access to this thing called the anti-life equation, which is historically a thing that Darkseid, which we talked about earlier, is after. So Steppenwolf eventually is like, "Oh, I'm going to take over this planet so I can get in with my nephew Darkseid, who's really disappointed in me lately." So that's his plot line. Yeah, he's set up this Unity. He's setting up an evil base, and he's sending his goons, these things called parademons, out into the world to go kidnap people who have been close to the mother box somehow, which results in like people from Atlantis and people from Star Labs in Metropolis, because we'll get to that. We then meet up with Barry Allen, and we get this long ass scene where he's trying to get a job as a dock walker, and he saves a woman from a car crash. It's really long and boring, and it's completely unnecessary. Like, you could have easily put this in with something else. Then we cut back to, and then we cut to Star Lab, which is set up right next to the place in Metropolis where Zod's ship from Man of Steel has crashed. We know that from the last movie. The guy in charge of the lab there is Silas Stone, who is leaving for the day. And as he leaves, a parademon boom tubes in and goes to try to find the mother box in this area, but can't find it. Ends up kidnapping a bunch of people. Ryan Choi has been added to the Snyder Cut. Ryan Choi is an Atom. That's Atom. Atom. He is the third Atom, I believe, and I think they're just setting him up for a future Justice League movie here, which is fine. He's kind of a nice character. He's probably is just as interesting as Ray Palmer is. Silas, hearing that these things have been going around looking for the mother box, alerts Cyborg that it's not that things aren't safe. Cyborg is apparently Silas's son. Silas' son Victor Stone. So we get his identity. Diana, aka Wonder Woman, goes to the Shrine of the Amazons and gets brought up on the deal with all the what's going on. Essentially, 5,000 years ago, Darkseid. In this version, in the original movie, it was just Steppenwolf coming there the first time. He had come to conquer and destroy Earth, but essentially, Amazons, humans, Atlanteans, gods, and also a Green Lantern went to fight him off, and manages to fight off Steppenwolf or Darkseid in this. It's a bit weird they put Darkseid here in this version, because it kind of lets it seem like Darkseid is weaker than he actually is, which of course we can hand wave this, because Darkseid wasn't always top dog of Apocalypse in the comics either, but it's a bit of another thing to explain to the audience, so I don't get it.
The Green Lantern in this gets like straight dick down in like the first 30 seconds of this fight, and it
Yeah,
was
he gets
very
beat up.
upsetting. Like it wasn't even like cool. He feels shoehorned once again, but like it was a cool
It's
nod at least.
Yeah, it's a nod. That's all it is. Um, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be Abin Sur or not. Kind of looks like him.
I don't
If you
know who that is.
squint. He's the guy Hal Jordan gets his powers, got the ring from.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that this is him. It could easily not be him. He's kind of reddish like Abin Sur, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It could easily not be him again. So yeah, they've teased Darkseid. Aquaman saves a guy from a shipwreck. In the Whedon cut, this is setting up for him to go back to Atlantis to go interact with the Mother Box, but in this, there's still like another 30 minutes before that happens. So he saves this guy from a boat wreck and then goes takes his shirt off on the dock as he goes to hang out with a place that's shaped like his dad or his grandpa rather, and he meets with one of his mentors, Falco, who's not in the Whedon cut at all. This is all pretty unnecessary. I understand why Joss cut it out. Falco tries to guilt trip Aquaman into taking up his mother's trident and fighting against Steppenwolf, who's coming for the mother box and who has kidnapped a couple of Atlanteans already. Steppenwolf contacts Apocalypse and meets with and has like a talk through his statue thing with the Sod, who's one of Darkseid's sidekicks. He's a torturer. It's not very important. He was cut out of the Darkseid and Desaad were neither not in the Whedon cut, so that's a thing. Diana gets Bruce up to speed on what the deal is, and yeah, they explain where all the boxes went and whatnot. This we've gone over this. Part 3, Beloved Mother, Beloved Son. Barry Allen is having a talk with his dad in prison. I guess I think that's actually later, but we'll talk about this. He has a talk with his dad in prison. They essentially Barry Allen. I forget what Barry Allen's dad's name is. He tries to get Barry Allen to stop coming to visit him because he's wasting his time. Because even though Barry Allen's dad is in there for a crime he didn't commit, something that Barry Allen's really just taking on faith, to be honest. There's not really much evidence to show anyone else what did it, especially since the guy that killed Barry Allen's dad was actually a time traveler. So
Was
yeah.
he trying to stop Barry Allen from being born?
No, it's more complicated than that. We're not going to get into it.
Okay.
Yeah. I also don't very well know exactly what the deal was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big Flash reader. So we get a Cyborg flashback. Apparently, him and his mother were caught in a car accident. Silas Stone had to use the mother box, which was at Star Labs, in order to save Victor's life, turning him into Cyborg. He was initially a very absent father. He was always skipping out on his son's football games, and the mother was more the attentive parent. So that has led them on to a adversarial relationship, which they do eventually get over, but it takes a lot of work.
This was dumb. I hated this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, just Cyborg's characterization throughout the movie. Like he was a star athlete and like a child genius prodigy or some weird combination like that. And then like throughout the whole movie he's just like brooding in the dark, and he's like super angry with his father that like by God this father saved his life and like gave him superpowers. Superpowers. He's just like super angry about it all the time because he doesn't look cool anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of angst. Like this is totally like a valid reading of the character, but it's not as not the traditional reading as much as everyone would have does it before that. We know him from like other media as like a very bombastic character who does a lot of booyahs and whatnot. But he's very much not that in this,
Mm-hmm.
which is maybe a result of him being like fresh off getting injured. And like he does blame his dad for the car accident. And this may be more about his mom being dead than him getting the turned into a cyborg. Cuz his mom they wouldn't have, he says at one point that they wouldn't have gotten into that car accident if his dad had shown up for his football game. So it's just he's just using his father as like an outlet for his anger, which isn't healthy, absolutely, but it's something he's supposed to be getting over.
Hmm.
I'm pretty pro Cyborg in this. I think he could, if like they should have centered the movie on him. I honestly.
Like, I like his character and I like his like design and stuff like that. I just don't like how angry he is all the time.
Oh, I don't like his design really.
I mean, I like the fact that he has that pullover mask. I don't kind of like the symmetricalness of his cyborg face, but that's just me.
This is a weird thing. They've never tried to replicate that incredibly popular Teen Titans design in any other media.
Hmm.
Like that design from the Teen Titans cartoon from like 2003 or whatever, that's incredibly popular. No one's tried to replicate it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah,
They're all trying to do like a really ugly looking version of his like 70s costume, which is also dumb looking. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
except for Teen Titans Go,
Well, Teen
apparently.
Titans Go is Teen Titans.
And
It's supposed to be the same thing.
it's not.
I know, but it's using all the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's playing a different game with the same toys.
Hmm.
A worse game, but yeah. Yeah, no one's really tried to replicate that at all. It's weird.
Yeah.
They should be doing more of it. Like I think it's cuz Cyborg from Teen Titans has a bit of a glass look and that doesn't look terribly sturdy, so people don't want to use it. But I think we could do something painted if nothing else. It's weird.
Hmm.
And I get why he doesn't have it in this, but I think we could have easily had a moment where like he shifts into like a sleeker version going into the final fight, because Batman gets a new costume going into the final fight. So why not Cyborg? Cyborg practices some of his powers. He listens to a tape recorder about Silas telling him that he has the fate of the world in his hands because he has so much power. We see him give money to a poor person by hacking an ATM, but he crushes the tape recorder when when Silas starts saying he wants to talk to him as a father. Bruce goes to recruit Barry. He finds him at Barry's house hideout, and yeah, it's actually really easy to recruit. He just says he's in. Flash is the comic relief in this, so there's that. I think they could have done that. He looks way too serious in this with his haircut and whatnot. They should have given him a more whimsical haircut or something. So in the meantime, Diana's looking for Victor, who they have a good lead on, but she tries figuring out where he lives, and there's a bit of Victor hacks into her computer and prevents her from doing that, but does set up a meeting with her, and they have a meeting. It's very adversarial, more so than in the Whedon cut. It eventually ends with him saying no, and he goes to bury the mother box in the place where his grave is, because Silas couldn't tell anyone that he was doing illegal experiments on his son with alien technology.
I mean, that's
It's kind of frowned upon in the scientific community,
that brings
even
me
though it's what they all want to do.
back to the
Go ahead.
last like when they're showing the origins of the Mother Box series, like how they're defending them. Like Atlantis has a cool scene where they're like putting up like booby traps, and the like Athens are showing like cool scenes when they're putting up booby traps, and then they're like the humans are just like digging a hole, putting the mother box in, and then just reburying it. Like,
Shallow grave in the middle of a which granted might be difficult to find because it's completely unmarked.
yeah, but like,
That's actually a bitch to find, actually. I guarantee you.
yeah,
Someone
unless
got
there's
lucky.
like a tracking system of how to find the mother boxes and programmed into like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't
someone
know,
dug it
say
up in the meantime.
3 parody. And
Actually.
it's like, it's not even like they put it in any form of like modern day excavating or like um, putting in buildings, digging out a basement, putting in a grave. Like somebody would have found that. I'm surprised it took them 1942.
I mean, maybe yeah, but you still have to get lucky. Like I cannot stress with you how much like if you want to hide something, bury it in the middle of the woods and like not tell anybody about it. Like that's actually the best place to hide things. People don't look for it.
That's not
Like you'd be
true.
surprised how hard it is to find. It is absolutely true.
It is
Yeah,
not.
like no, because like you know why they found all Tutankhamun stuff is because it's hidden in the middle of a valley somewhere. But all the stuff that's under the pyramids stolen. All that gold stolen. Just as much gold, but it was all stolen.
But
But the
with that
stuff in the
being
Valley of the
said,
Kings
like
still occasionally find stuff.
in the middle of a forest, it's a bad idea because so many trees. People doing like cutting down trees for forestation and paper like purposes.
Yeah, but this is also 5,000 years ago. There's not as much forestry.
Yeah, but modern day forestry is still a
Grant,
thing.
yeah, oh yeah, I'm gonna think about that as a man 5,000 years ago. Yeah, we better be careful just in case there's a ton of advanced forestry going on here in 4,000 years.
Well, I mean, in hindsight, yeah, definitely they
Yeah,
should.
well, yeah, you go back in time and tell them, Cody.
I also don't like the fact that they're like, oh, we've got two super advanced, like almost superhuman, like whatchamacallits, and we're gonna give one of these like protective mother box like to the humans to protect when there's like Atlanteans and like Amazonians with literal gods standing beside him like throughout half the movie, and then there's just this guy with an axe.
I think the theory is that everyone's supposed to have like you hide it yourself and you don't tell anyone where you find it. So like you can't tell where other people is, and like if you give one to the gods, the Atlanteans are gonna be the gods. I'll know they're connected to the Amazonians. So
Mhm.
there's that. So they can't do that. That's one faction on its own. If Green Lantern were maybe lived through that, they may have taken the thing into space or whatever,
That seems smarter.
tossed the thing into the fucking sun.
That
But I mean, he
also seems
died,
very
so
smart. Actually, it
yeah,
doesn't,
he died though. So
because the mother boxes seem to absorb heat.
sun's a lot of heat. Anyway, a parademon arrives at Silas's house looking for stuff. He kidnaps Silas, or one kidnaps Silas. Meanwhile, we cut to Commissioner Gordon, who's in the movie for basically no reason, other than to point. I suppose he points. What he's doing here is he points out to Batman what is going on because everyone thinks that Batman's the one kidnapping people because all the parademons kind of look like a Batman,
Mhm.
which it makes sense, sort of. Yeah, he gives them the rundown, and like they're trying to, and through that they discover that Batman, Wonder Woman, and Flash discover that the points are converging underground. Also, Cyborg joins them at this point because they've kidnapped Silas. Cyborg points out that the abduction points are all coalescing between a point underground, correlating with the with a attempted underground tunnel that goes under Gotham Harbor that would have connected Metropolis and Gotham. Probably some multinational boondoggle that Gotham got stuck with the bill on. Just judging based on how that works. Gotham's a very seems like they were the ones that would have gotten screwed by that. But yeah, that's where the parademons are hiding the people they're interrogating. So they go to rescue them. Mira, in the meantime, is protecting the mother box, and has to fight off Steppenwolf, where she does a thing where she tries to suck out like waterbend Steppenwolf's blood out of his body, which is fucking brutal. Like I was like, fuck, that is yeah. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna waterbend your blood out. Just makes Katara from Last Airbender look like tame by comparison. Just shit. It doesn't end up working, and Aquaman, whose name is Arthur, has to save her. He does so, but Steppenwolf does still get away with the mother box,
Mhm.
and this allows Steppenwolf to put a shield around his base in Russia. Then we enter part 4, Change Machine.